Well, hello folks, back out at Nightwood Oak once again, and my last couple of shoots in this area have unfortunately failed somewhat in terms of not the photography but the videography, as I've had major troubles with sound, and I'm determined that today that is not going to be the case. There's all sorts of stuff I could talk about today, and because I've had so much new gear recently, but I'm going to try and focus, apart from a little bit of photography, I'm going to try to focus today on one particular piece of gear, and that is a new backpack. So we're here in Nightwood and I'm in the New Forest, and I'm going to do a kind of circular walk really to try and spy out some new things that I might photograph, either just when the light is good, dawn, sunset sort of times, maybe night shoots, but also with a view to thinking particularly about what's coming in the next season, because it's not so far before spring will arrive. Today I am looking, there's no pressure today to get a photograph. I'm not really expecting that, but you never know. I'll be around until sunset, and if the clouds start to break up a bit and the sun decides to show its face and uplight some of these clouds, then there may be something to do. But what I am looking out for really is trees with a bit of character. So there were a number of problems I was having with the low pro Vertex bag, as I've mentioned earlier, and one of the principal problems really was it just wasn't comfortable. I don't know why it took me 13 years to come to terms with the fact that I needed to change it, but it did, and so I have swapped it out, and I'm going to introduce you to my new bag. And so far so good, and today I have deliberately loaded it out pretty much to maximum. I've brought all sorts of stuff with me I probably don't need to have, because I want to try the bag out on my shoulders for several hours to really see how comfortable it is. As I walk, what I'm finding is that I've been able to tighten the waist straps on this sufficiently to ensure that the weight really isn't just on my shoulders. So there's a little bit of movement up there, and I'm fine with that. It's not really swaying around, and if I needed to drop it down a little bit further just to put a bit of weight on my shoulders, then I'll be able to do that. So what is this wonderful bag that I have purchased? Time, I think, to reveal that. Well, it's the Shimoda Explorer, not the Explorer version 2. This is the Shimoda Explorer, and you can pick them up relatively cheap at the moment because everybody wants the version 2. So I'm quite liking this tree. It's not entirely the right light conditions for it, but what I am quite liking is that from about here I can separate it from any other tree within a reasonable distance, and I think in the right time of year, maybe when there's a bit of hoarfrost on it, when we've got fresh spring leaves, or in the autumn, or on a foggy day, this would be a great subject. So this is definitely one to mark down for future possibilities. It's time to get my bag off and show you a little bit of what's going on. So welcome to the Shimoda. This is it, and as you can see, it's quite deliberately fully loaded at the moment. And firstly, I've got two tripods mounted on it, and let's just do the exterior bits first. So I've got these two tripods mounted on it. This is my three-legged thing, and this is a Manfrotto tripod. And in addition to that, I've made use of some little additional kind of, I guess they're grab handles that are on the belt here, and I've actually found these to be really useful for hanging additional equipment bags on. So little lens pouches, accessory pouches, that kind of stuff. These are ones from Think Tank that I have had for years, since my days of wedding photography. And I used to wear a belt with these, and I'd have about 4 or 5 of these things strung around my waist so that my equipment was always ready to hand. So we've got a couple of tripods on the outside, and then we've got also a couple of accessory bags, so it's pretty good for hanging extra stuff on. I'm just going to take the tripods off. That's the three-legged thing. Stand that one up over there. Now this one is mounted a little bit differently. This one can actually go in this bag, which is actually quite handy. So it's got a pull string, and it enables you to just basically drop your tripod into the bag, and that makes it like really stable. And I find that quite good, where I've got this huge, great Manfrotto geared head, and it just really tucks that out of the way, and it means that with that bit down in the bag, it's not going to clonk me in the head, so I quite like that. Okay, so this pocket can actually, when it's not in use, and you don't have to use it, by the way, for the mounting the tripod, when it's not in use, you can just tuck it away in the side of the bag there, and it's nice and neat. Let's move through the bag now. Here in the front pouch, this zips down if you want it to, and or zips open, and in there I have my water bladder. It assumes really that you use a pouch or bladder, and then there are these tube feeds holes that go through from this front pouch out the other side of the bag, and then up around the strap, and I'm just using this carbineer, however you pronounce it, to route that through, so that it's handy when I want to drink from it. In addition to that, there is another section, and this is another sort of front / side opening section. So you can see here where your bladder tube comes through, and you can fit quite a bit in this section should you wish to do so. I've got my drink there, a flask, and I've also got a pouch here which has a whole load of little accessories in. So yeah, you can keep all kinds of stuff in these pouches, and I just decided it was time to just have everything neatly together. So that pouch goes in there. I have another one of these that is just my night photography gear for when I'm using the Move Shoot Move tracker. So between that front pouch for the water bladder and this secondary pouch, I can fit all the wet weather gear that I want in there, and other spare clothing perhaps that I might need during a shoot. Then there is a rear pouch section as well, and I have some other bits and pieces in there, torches, and there's more little pouches that you can fit stuff in. I've got a low pro pouch here that I got for my other camping rucksack, and that's got even more cables, spare memory cards, headphones, all that kind of stuff in there. And then we get to the main business section really, and this is where I access the main equipment area for your photographic gear. So it's rear opening, and that means when I put the bag down on the ground to access my equipment, firstly it's very easily accessible, and secondly if it's a bit mucky, then all my straps and everything are not going to get dragged through the muck, so I'm not going to get mucky clothing next time I put the pack back on. So it just unzips nice and easy like that. It's a very robust zip system. And then within here I've then got a main camera section. Right, so let's take a good look at this. Firstly, I did actually indulge myself in buying the Shimoda large internal camera unit, the ICU. I was going to try using the low pro ICUs that I have that I bought for my other bag, but they didn't really fit very well in here, so I relented and I bought the Shimoda unit. And because I carry a lot of gear, this is the large unit. So I can fit both camera bodies in here. I've taken one of them out for now. That's my second camera body. It's got a 24-70 lens on. I've got a great big Nissi lens pouch there. I've got spare batteries. I've got my enormous 70-200 lens, a lens blower, which I should probably keep somewhere more handy than in there, and again some more filters, remote shutter release stuff, more remote shutter release. I've got another, I've got the, it's not a lens actually, this is the 2x teleconverter for use with the 70-200 mm. So I've got quite a bit of gear here. If we include what's on the cameras, there's 3 lenses and a teleconverter, lens pouch, batteries, all sorts of filters and remote releases, and some spare batteries and stuff, other spare batteries in there, as well as all the stuff that I can keep in the top as well. And then here we have a very padded back and pocket. And this is where, if you wanted to, you could fit a laptop. Personally, I never take a laptop or anything like that out with me on a shoot. Yeah, you can put a huge amount of stuff in this backpack. And then the final feature on the back of the pack is here, where you've got these adjustable straps. So depending on your torso size, you can make this right for your particular fit. Okay, so that's enough about the backpack. That's what it is. I'm pleased with it so far, but you know, this is kind of like the first try out really, other than just mucking around with it at home, and time will tell. I can't really say that I know enough about it yet to be able to recommend it, but over the next few months hopefully I'll get to know it quite well. So I'm really not expecting anything too special from this this shot. I'm going to have to work to make it. We just haven't got the light, and it's really the wrong season, but never mind. This is about future shots, and so I've got down right low here. I've made sure as far as I can that I've isolated this tree from the background, and though I'm really wide angle, and so I think what I'm going to do, because if I use f8, which I'm on at the moment, and it's manually set, by the way, it's a completely manual lens. If I use f8 at 15mm, then everything is going to be in focus, and I don't really want the background in focus. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the difference, and this is just really a test shot, and I'm going to do a little bit more messing around with polarizing filter and stuff like that to see if I can bring out a little bit more detail in the sky. Well, looking at it in camera, I'm not convinced that the polarizer in this situation made very much difference at all. And but you can't really tell on the back of the camera, can you? Nevertheless, it's still a good chance to get the Lauer 15mm out and just get my hands on it once again and get used to exercising my muscle memory with it, remembering to manually set the aperture that I wanted, and also the shutter speed, etc. And yeah, and the focus. So it has to be manually focused, manually set aperture, manual shutter speed, everything, fully manual lens. There's no escaping any of that with this. Nice and simple. What I have found with it though, when you get it right, you just get beautifully crisp, sharply focused images, and I love that. Well, all in all, I'm really pleased with this backpack so far. There are a number of features of it that I haven't mentioned so far in terms of the straps and that kind of stuff, what sort of little attachments and pockets there are on there, and I've actually found them quite helpful. One thing I particularly like is, which initially I thought would be very gimmicky because I'm used to a different method of carrying my camera with me, are these little straps that connect to the camera here and then to your straps on your rucksack, and they just unclip nice and easily, and so it's quite an effective quick release system for a camera, and so I particularly like that. So anyway, I'm losing the light now. It's going to be grey. We're not going to have a nice colourful sunset, so I'm going to go straight back to the car. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you might have found this a little bit useful in terms of information about my Shimoda Backpack, the Explorer version 1. And if you've got any questions about it, if you'd like to find out more about it, then do hit me up in the comments. I'll be pleased to answer any questions that you might have. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. And before we disappear completely, I'll just put up a little slideshow of some of my recent shots in the New Forest. Bye for now.